Hi, thank you for being here to Take 10. In today's session, we're going to focus on getting really hippie and making those hips happy. Let's get right to it. Come to a tabletop position. From your tabletop position, you're going to wag your tail over to the right, look over to the right, and then wag your tail over to the left as you look over to the left as well. So inhale over to the right, exhale over to the left. A couple more here. Just getting into the outer hips as well as into the obliques a little bit. Finding our breath to movement connection. Last round. Come back to tabletop, walk your hands a little bit farther in front of you. You're going to take half moon with circles with our hips. So dropping your hips over to the right, inhale, and then exhale as you drop them over to the left. So just getting a little bit more range of motion here, but still just warming up the outer hips. If you feel like you want to stay and take an extra breath in either of these expressions to the right or the left, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, let's go 3 more on each side. Starting to definitely feel happy in the outer hips. Last one. We're going to add in some front hip and pelvis. So you're going to inhale as you rock over to the right, pull the heart forward, square the pelvis off if this feels okay for your lower back, and then take that full moon over to the left and then back into tabletop. So just do 2 more in this direction. Inhale, rock to the right, forward, left, back. Last one. Let's reverse the direction of those full moon circles. Inhale to the left, pull forward, exhale to the right, pull back. 2 more. Make sure that you're finding your range of motion for what feels safe for your lower back and good and happy on the hips. Last one. Good. All right, from here, come back into tabletop. You're going to tuck the toes underneath, lift the hips up and back, come into your downward facing dog. Inhale as you raise the right toes high, and on your exhale, bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand and drop back onto that left knee. Untuck the toes, pull the heart forward as you inhale, and as you exhale, rock the hips back over the heel. Just 4 more. Pulling in some nice breath on the inhale and maybe releasing any stale parts of the hips on the exhale. Last 2. Last one. Inhale, rock forward, dropping the hips. And this time as you exhale, rock your hips to the left, look over your right shoulder. Inhale through center. Exhale, rock the hips over to the right, looking over your left shoulder. 4 more. Definitely starting to feel really happy through the hips. Last one. Coming back to center, tuck the left toes underneath, lift the knee, step straight back into down dog. Pedal out the feet, checking in with how the hips are feeling. On your next inhale, raise your left toes high. Exhale, step the foot to the outside of the left hand, taking that same series, drop down to the knee, untuck the toe. Inhale, reach the heart forward, lift the chin. Exhale, set the hips back. Good, 4 more. Last one. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, look over your left shoulder, rolling onto your right hip. Inhale, back through center, and then exhale, rolling over on your left hip, looking over your right shoulder. 4 more here. Finding your own range of motion for both the outer left hip here when we're turned this way, and then also for the front psoas and the right hip flexor when you're turned over the right shoulder. Remembering that our focus and our intention is just to make our hips happy. Last one here. Turn the chest back forward, tuck the right toes, lift the knee, and come back into your down dog. Take a breath in here as you shift forward into your plank, and then exhale as you drop down to your knees. And then inhale as you rise up to stand onto your knees, and then you're going to step your left foot out to the side at right in line with your hip and turn the toe pointing out. Try to square the hips forward, rolling the outer hip underneath and thinking sit bone forward, and then come into a side bend here, placing your left knee or your left elbow on your left knee and trying to keep pulling that left outer hip down towards your left heel. And then reach the right arm up overhead and use the left elbow to press the left knee out to the left. Take your gaze to the ceiling. We're just going to take 3 breaths here. Try to relax the glute muscles. Giving a couple breaths to let that outer hip open as on its own time. Feeling a stretch through the inner groin on the left side here as well. Next, inhale, reach your arms back up overhead. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into tabletop, and we'll repeat that same thing on the other side. So inhale, rise back up. Exhale, step the foot out to the side. Think outer sits bones or outer hip down, sits bones forward. Right knee out to the right hand on the elbow or right elbow on the knee, and then reach the left arm up overhead. So we got a lot of benefits going on here. Side body stretch, an outer hip opener, as well as an inner groin stretch. Take your gaze to the ceiling for an additional neck stretch as well, and just about 2 more breaths. Letting this asana, this posture settle in. Try to relax the glutes. Inhale, reach the arms back up overhead. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back into tabletop. Tuck the toes underneath. Lift the hips up and back for down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. As you then wag the tail here for a second. On your next inhale, raise your right toes high. On your exhale, bring your foot in between your hands, and then you're going to step your foot back foot a foot or 2 in and spin the back heel down. Then you're going to straighten the front leg and pull the heart forward. From here, you can place your right hand on your shin and then peel the left arm up towards the ceiling as you're pressing down and out through that back left foot, finding some space through the collarbones and a nice outer hip opener here for this left hip. Keep pulling the right hip underneath just as we did in that last asana as well. So take 3 breaths here. Letting the outer hip on the left side open up. The outer hip rolling underneath on the right side, and finding some expansiveness here in utthita trikonasana, extended triangle pose. For your last breath, reach your left arm up overhead, feeling a lot of length through this left side. And then on your next inhale, rise to stand, and we're just gonna flip sides. So flip the feet, turning the left toes towards the back of the mat, pop that right hip out towards the front of the mat, and then come down, hinge over, left hand to the shin, roll the right shoulder back, right hand to the ceiling, pressing down and out through that back right foot this time, rolling the left outer hip underneath. Good. Keep the belly drawn in, the heart proud, and the collarbones wide. Reach the right arm overhead for one last breath here, finding a lot of length through the side body. Inhale, rising back up. Turn both feet towards the long edge of the mat. Come to stand. Thank you very much for getting a little hippie with me here today. And I hope that your hips are feeling nice and happy and a little bit more loosened up. I hope to see you again tomorrow.